Going live. Um, Hello, everyone. As always, this first few seconds is just like to make sure that we're getting this right. And I just get a confirmation from YouTube that we're actually there. Let's see. Yeah, it's all good. I can see us there. And so, hello, everyone. And welcome to our episode 37, which is a beautiful number again. This is, which number is this, Amanda? So, like, we'll go with the numerology.
So 3 and 7 is 10, which makes it number one. So there's I'm not an but numerology, and you get angel numbers, but
Yeah.
number one is again another powerful number in new beginnings. Like
It's, again, it's so relevant to what we spoke yesterday and what we're speaking today.
yeah, yeah,
Because the theme that we got, just as we were coming into the conversation for you guys, we're talking about peaceful resolution, which is, that peace after the storm, after the war, or after, something. And if you watched the episode yesterday, we spoke about quite a lot of, different ways of, bringing resolutions to, to conflicts, to possibly at work, possibly, in relationships and so on. There were quite a lot, and there was a quite long episode. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely
yeah.
recommend to you. And it was our episode 36, which was number 9, which Amanda was talking yesterday. And that means, what did you mean about the number 9 again?
Number nine is when you reach a sort of pinnacle. So if you're kind of number nine personality, or a number nine your soul urge, it's that sort of highest consciousness. It's reaching that point of the highest truth, the highest understanding, the highest consciousness, and the importance of that, the sort of energy within that,
Yeah.
to get to a place of the highest truth, the highest love, the highest consciousness.
And I
Yeah,
feel
and that.
that it is so kind of connected. If you listen to the episode from yesterday, you're gonna see like that we all have those moments where we can get to our highest, consciousness. And to be honest, like it usually comes with, challenging situations, which is interesting as well, with like a situation where you might have a conflict to solve, or where you get actually to make a decision of staying in a relationship or moving on or having a conversation, or staying in a job, moving, country, and so on. So there were, like, we gave some examples, like when I moved to the UK, it was like a call. Do you see what I mean? And the longest I would keep into my job, the longest it would dread that situation. Or even like with my one of my long relationships as well, the longest I would keep that, you would have a call to it as well.
Yeah,
And Amanda done the process yesterday for her to, solve, to untangle some of the, thoughts and everything that was in the mind, some of the, let's say, challenges, or that we might have in our mind. And I asked Amanda before we jumped in if she would be open to share that.
yeah,
And even if it's like for some of you guys as well, because I know how much, Amanda is connected to, spirit, God, with like however name you guys are going to put it in there, like whatever name that Amanda is going to be bringing up, and I ask her to be honest and, be herself and so on. Just change it for whatever, resonate with you. And this is not about, telling this is the right way, this is the truth, or this is the right God, or that is the God. No, it's not, absolutely not. Our intention with the Alchemy chat is literally sharing things as they are happening, and actually allow people to untangle it by, by an example as well. By, we're not selling, we're not, perfect beings in any shape or form, but at the same time, I think we're like everyone else as well, in that sense as well. There is no,
yeah.
you know thinking that we're better or worse or anything else like that. So it's just sharing, yeah, our experiences as we go along. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. I love that. And we say, and for me, yeah, I think we shared in other episodes where I hated God.
Yeah.
I shared, when my dad died, it was like, it was my one source of safety. And then I just slowly got back again. Then my husband died. And it was like, then I was like, you promised me that you wouldn't do that to my children. I was so angry, and they can't be a God. And I was, wow, yeah, no, so yeah, my journey, I get it, I do. And so for my journey has been the walking back to that, remembering. So my God experience isn't a religious thing. My family aren't religious. One family member is, but it's that for me, the remembering who I am, and we are all divine light.
And I just want to highlight for people as well, even if you do take the more religious side, I mean, there's absolutely fine on that as well. There's nothing, wrong on, there's so much wisdom on the holy books and, talking about the Bible, the Quran and everything and the traditions behind it as well. Of
Yeah,
course, there is a lot of pain as well that was inflicted by what happened in the past with the church and,
yeah.
and so on. But there is so much wisdom in it as well. So we're not here to judge like, oh, the God from the religion is wrong or the God, whichever. It's not. It's just like, yeah, I think it's just a little introduction for you guys. Like we're gonna talk about this stuff, and I know they can trigger some people. And to be honest, like I love that Amanda said that, like, oh, there's a moment where there's so much anger towards God. How come can you do this in my life? How come you can take this person from my life in that sense? And that like beautiful examples. One of the examples that I mentioned here before as well, one of the books or a series of books that was Conversations with God, which I put off from reading it for ages and ages and ages with Neil Donald Walsh.
Yeah.
And the moment pretty much there, kind of, I think it was a pivotal moment for Neil Donald Walsh is when he was honest and actually, God, why are you doing this to me? And you really like throw all the stuff that you're thinking, I mean, towards, God, towards the source and everything else. And that's where, the beauty came back because it's trusting that that energy or source, God or universe is actually there to help you out. And like when you speak up, then he comes, to me. No, they come or the ideas comes, but at least you release that energy and you're ready to receive then.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that, Junior, because really, who we really are is a remembering that we're love and loved and lovable, and that who we are is so much more than the roles and identities that we take on in any part of our consciousness that's forgotten the vastness, the intelligence, the divinity that we are, that we're not on our own. We all come from that source. And it's the consciousness that's forgotten that lives in sort of lack, fear, anxiety, depression, worry. I'm worried about the future. I feel regretful about the past, and all those feelings of not feeling safe. And it's just remembering, oh gosh, yeah, I temporarily forgot who I was, and we all have, and it's our journey back. And forgiving ourselves for doing that, that's where free will comes in, free will. And I choose to use my free will consciously now. So for me, I know when I've reconnected, because I come back to a feeling of love. It feels like inner harmony, it's peaceful, I feel calm, I'm safe. I then start to get inspired ideas and thoughts about a situation that I might have had a sort of fear-based conditioning that I could have received in this life from an experience. It could be, as we talked about before, it could be an ancestral thing, a societal thing. But the thing that happened for me, it was an external situation, and it's something that's I'm very passionate about. But I was just starting to feel a little bit of discomfort about it. And I thought, oh, when I'm at this particular place, my intention for being there was, I was sort of getting drawn away with a sort of feeling that felt a little bit uncomfortable, and then I didn't know what it was. And so
Uh,
yes,
I'm just gonna like intervene a little bit there, not cutting you. It's just to talk to the audience as well. Like I love what Amanda is just bringing all those feelings, and I would love you to feel because we all have that. I can it resonates so much with Amanda. It could be a place, and you're starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Can you see all the words that Amanda is using there? I would love you to kind of just feel it to yourself. And then she, of course, she will share, her way that she used to untangle to get that peaceful resolution. Which of course it happened in the last, 24 hours or so, which is beautiful. And I'm not saying that it has to happen in that way for you, but it could be a light that you were looking for as well. So there might be, uncomfortable situations. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to bring that up to people, not to just listen this as a story that Amanda is telling, but
I
as
really,
something that we all live. That if you feel that there are moments where we have a relationship that it's feeling a bit uncomfortable, or there is an environment when we come to work that it's like, oh, I can walk through the door and like I can feel that. And it's every single day. I mean, work environment, or whatever it is that we do, is every single week, every single day. And it kind of like, whoa, I can feel again. So it's just, yeah, just
yeah.
remembering you guys that what Amanda is sharing here, try to, yeah, connect with yourself. What is it that you're doing?
I love that. That's really relevant. I really love that, because what we don't want to do is sort of talk the talk.
Yeah.
I've read in a book. This is why we're sharing this. We're saying we want to share with you, and it's very feeling orientated. And I think for me as well, a big part of this is I've spent a lot of time rebooting my self-worthiness, the love for myself. So I've got to the point now where I care so much about how I feel that I'm almost not willing anymore. Like I know feelings come up, so I don't judge the feeling anymore. I shouldn't have this feeling. I'm whatever. So I don't judge the feeling anymore. But it's like an almost. So whenever I get to the peaceful resolution, I'm always really thankful. I can always see the blessings in. It might have caused some turbulence. It might have been uncomfortable. It might have brought up self-doubt. God, am I judging that person? Oh, I feel bad. God, am I judging? So the situation for me was something that I care a lot about, this particular place that I go to. And my intention behind it is very close to my heart. But there was just something about, I was noticing when I was going and when I was there was an energy that felt uncomfortable, even unsafe is quite strong, but there's levels of unsafe. You just feel a little bit uncomfortable. So just, it was a busy day, quite busy yesterday. But I knew the second I had chance to be with this, I wanted to be with it. So yeah, for me is, yeah, I can feel there's something here that I know really wants my attention, wants my care. And okay. And so I take my breaths. I slow my breathing down, conscious breathing. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my attention purely out of thinking. And even temporarily, I'm going through whatever this disturbing emotion is. And I'm saying to my body, I know them. And in that moment, I look around me and I say, there's nothing physically threatening me here. So I know, so I can reassure my body that you're safe, body. You don't need to go into stress and fear. So whatever's coming up, we're okay to look at this, because as I look around me, no one's here with a pitchfork. No one's about to get me. I've not got to run away. So whatever this is, it must be in my mind. And what that does, that just helps my body. So I'm breathing, calming down. And I can say things like, I mean, you hear all sorts of different words. For me, I am calm. It's okay. We're calm. You see, looked around, there's no present danger. We're okay to be calm. We're safe. There's no need to be scared, because whatever this feeling is, I think it's something that's coming up from my mind. And at the minute, I don't need to know. Is it to do with my life and something that's happened? Is it an ancestral thing? Is it a societal thing? I mean, we all share the same consciousness anyway. So it's not personal anyway, really. So I have all this, it kind of reassures me as I'm doing that. Take my awareness into my body, feel myself in my whole body. So my attention again has come out of this and whatever the feeling is. I've expanded, I've opened up, and there's a feeling of calm coming in. And I'm not saying I can still access that little feeling, whatever it is, the icky or disruption. And I can say it's okay. But for me at this point, I'll also say, I'm going to ask for some help with this, because at this minute, I don't know what this is. I know if I hand this over to my higher self, divine spirit, God, Mother Earth, for me, these words are instant. I feel the energy come in, and it becomes like I'm an observer now. I'm not the reactive me, that little me. I've become a sort of expansive, observational. I can feel the support around me. And it's just like a knowing. I know when I've reconnected with that energy, because you just feel, oh yeah, I'm not my own with this. I'm asking for help. And then you sort of say, I'm sorry that a part of me feels this way. I'm really sorry that part of you feels, I can kind of feels a bit scared, a bit unsure, a bit doubtful, feeling a bit bad. God, I'm so sorry you feel that way. And, I'm here with you. And then I can almost say, God, maybe I can ask for forgiveness that that part of me forgot who it was. And I forgot to take care of it. And I also forgot who I really am. So I'm not saying forgiveness in the way I've done something wrong, but just that beautiful thing of acknowledge that, yeah, it's okay, I forgot. There's no judgment in that. And then for me, because I opened it up, I could sat with those feelings. No, I didn't need to judge them. I didn't need to run away from them. I just sat with them. They were held, and I was a big space around them. I wasn't detached. I hadn't shut down from them. I could hold them. And I kind of knew I was sort of thanking them. Thank you. I know there's going to be something beautiful is going to come from this. So then I allowed my higher self, the sort of divine consciousness to come in. And I just said, can I have some help with this? This is a situation, and it's something that's very important to me. And I kind of need some guidance on this, because I kind of don't know something that seemed very good. There's something coming up that's not feeling good, and I'm confused about this. And I kind of don't know. So my mind alone couldn't fix this. Like my ego, my logical thinking mind couldn't fix this. And it wasn't meant to, because it was kind of where the problem was coming from. So I was accessing my frontal cortex. I'd come out of that primitive patterned brain at the back. My amygdala, which is the fight, flight, fight response, had beautifully calmed down. I was in parasympathetic nervous system. I was feeling really calm, but I could still access the feelings. And then I think the thing I always surprises me is just the love that comes in. Just the love, the reassurance, everything's okay, you're not doing anything wrong, neither is anybody else. And for me, it was just that reassurance of, no, you're not doing anything wrong. And actually, you're not judging the situation or saying, well, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with certain aspects of this. So my go-to was, so I must be seeing this wrong, it must be me. And I just had a reassurance of, there was no blame or shame of anybody or anything, of, no, we're very aware of this. And what you're picking up on is discernment, and you're using wisdom. But the discomfort is that as a child, you were very intuitive, but you were constantly told that was wrong. So there was still a little bit of sort of trusting myself and what I was picking up. But there was a sort of thing of, well, if I'm seeing that as, because if someone's in an ego, and there can be a lot of power games around that. So when you see that in somebody, it's not that you're judging them and saying, well, they're a bad person. You're just discerning and seeing what's going on. And I was almost given the sort of jokey fable about Little Red Riding Hood, you know, when she goes into the woods and she goes to feed her grandmother, and she goes, hi, Grandma. And he's got the little hat on and he's in bed. And she's like, hang on. My, what big teeth you have. He's like, oh, all the better, oh, what big ears you have. And it's not that she's going, oh God, I'm judging my grandma as something not very nice. It was like something was telling her, this thing's got teeth and you might want to get out. Yeah. And it was beautiful for me. It was, I mean, I'll be honest, tears often come up for me. It's almost like something breaks, something surrenders. There's a surrendering of myself to that. And that's always a powerful part of it. There's a part that says, I surrender myself to the higher will, the bigger picture, the goodness for all. This part of me that doubts itself and thinks it's bad because it's seeing that wolf had big teeth and its intention was to eat the little girl. The little girl needed to see that, and she wasn't judging the wolf as bad, good, ugly, or whatever. It was just, that's the situation. And of course, the little girl would feel unsafe because the wolf was going to eat her. So she was meant to feel that. So for me, there was just a really beautiful rebalancing, like a deeper wisdom came in, a deeper self-awareness. And that little part of me that, I remember working with somebody once, and bear with me, this has context. And obviously we're very respectful, so I'm very careful not to give someone's confidentiality away, but they were with a partner who was great, and then the mental abuse started to come in, the emotional abuse started to come in. And whenever this person said to the partner, kind of don't like it when you say that, this person would cry and say, you're making me feel really bad. I always say I'm sorry afterwards, but I only act like this because of, I was bullied by my dad, or my mum left me, or whatever. And she's like, oh God, I know. So she'd be very understanding and sympathetic. And this carried on. And then eventually it became physical. And very apologetic afterwards. But the physical, it was just, this wasn't getting addressed. So her energy of, oh, bless him, he's only doing this because of an abuse he suffered. And whenever she tried to talk to them afterwards and say, or cry or show the bruises, because there were always hidden bruises, they'd get very upset and they'd cry and say, you're making me feel really bad. You're judging me as a really bad person. I don't mean to hit you. I don't want to hit you. I can't help it. And now you're making me feel even more shame. And when she came to me, she just said, I don't know what to do with this, because I love them. I see their light. I see their goodness, but surely it's not okay that I'm putting myself in danger. And her beautiful journey, the reason that something happens, they went to a church that they all went to together. It wasn't anyway, I went to about the type of church it was, like people away, and because her partner had started to understand that maybe this was going to come out, because it was all happening behind closed doors, he was starting to tell people in the congregation that they were having marital problems, but he was doing things he was sorry about, but and he was crying. She caught him once talking to the minister, and he was saying something like, I love her so much. I think she's going to leave me, and I've said I'm really sorry, but she can't accept my apologies, and she's really blaming me, and she's really angry with me, and I feel really judged. I feel like I'm a really bad person. Am I a bad person? And because the minister, didn't really know what was happening, when the woman came in, she felt bad again. And her beautiful journey was her waking up and saying, to be a light in this world, we can still love and see the goodness, but that doesn't mean I'm judging somebody if I see they're not acting from their highest good. Are they putting me in danger, or are they putting other people in danger? And danger can be multi-layered. As we were saying, if you hear somebody gossiping, it can make you feel a little bit unsafe with that person, because you think, well, if they're gossiping about somebody else, what? They'll probably do it about me. So there's kind of like, oh, you think, just gonna, and what came up for me yesterday, I'm not saying they were, it's not an abusive situation that I'm in, but it's just, they were just sort of saying to me, what you're picking up on is right. There's a lot of beautiful things going on in this particular place, but you are right to pick up on what you're picking up on. And then I was given just some really simple, beautiful solutions of how to just create some space, not get entangled, come back to my intention of doing what I was there to do. And then I was just inspired to take an action. So I contacted somebody I trust, a very good relationship with. There's a little bit of a conversation that was very, very helpful. And then I was also inspired to go back to some feedback I'd had from people I'd worked with there that I hadn't thought to look at, but it was really beautiful reading all these statements. And it gave me that beautiful intention again of, yeah, you are doing a good job there. Keep going. Because I think it brought a bit of self-doubting, like, so I came back to a pure place of, yeah, and when you're there, remember, surrender. You have a lot of knowledge and skill, but the most important thing is you surrender when you're there. And whatever that person needs from you, surrendered, you'll do the right thing, right action, right words. Yeah. So there was just a really beautiful resolution that came from that as well. So how long did that process take me? God, hard to give it a time. Initially it was about 15 minutes, but then throughout the rest of the day, I was just integrating the new. So I'd released the self-doubt. Oh God, I'm judging that person, but I'm not, I'm discerning them. All the sort of the not truths, if you were, got released. And then the higher truths came in of it's discernment, it's wisdom, being in your light and all that that means around people. Some people love being with people in their light. And unfortunately, sometimes it can cause jealousy. Somebody wants that person to fail. That's their thing. So all these beautiful things were brought in, and then I got filled up again with, no, yeah, that's your intention. Any ego in that really wasn't there. It was just, yeah, just be that pure openness, space, surrender, purity of intention. That came back really strongly and really confirmed my intention of why I do that. I saw the things that I could discern as not perhaps coming from their higher self sometimes. I saw their soul. I returned to love for them. I asked for their highest resolution as well, and I was reassured, yeah, we are very aware of this. You're not on your own. It's not your job actually at the minute to resolve this. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So we don't want you going in guns blazing. This is being sorted. And then when I spoke to this other person, without me really saying anything, it all came up about, yeah, it really was being sorted. So, and then for the rest of the time, it was just me consciously integrating, because obviously there's been a pattern for a long time of, I don't trust what I think. If I see the wolf has got big bad teeth, my go-to can be, oh my God, I'm a really bad person for seeing that wolf's got big bad teeth and I think he's going to eat me. But that's not a very nice thing to think about the wolf, is it? Because I'm sure he's really nice. And then I get eaten. So we're meant to have discernment. So it was just a beautiful releasing of patterns. And then I'll be honest, I was shown a lot of past lives. I was shown all sorts of human experiences where we've come to have that belief, and then some experiences of myself in this life from childhood to present day, where a bit like the woman whose husband was hitting her, she got to where she had to trust she was a good, loving person. And what that meant, her worthiness was for her to be in a nurturing environment. Yeah. And actually, her husband should feel bad, not not ashamed, but that person needed to feel bad about hitting her. He wasn't willing to feel that. And it wasn't that she was shaming him or saying you are a shameful person, but the acts that you are doing, yeah, that it's right that you should feel a level of shame about that because it's not okay. And she wasn't shaming him as a person. She wasn't saying you are shameful, but it came up that he had an idea he was shameful, so it was too painful for him. So it was easier to blame her rather than go within and say, yeah, there's a reason I feel bad about this because it was easier. So, I mean, what happened to her? Yeah, it was quite beautiful, her journey with that. And I won't go into any more details, but it was beautiful to be with her in that. And she returned to self-worthiness, she returned to love. She regained an inner strength that she'd maybe not had before, a self-trust. And that's why she kind of came to mind a little bit, that it comes to the sort of the self-trust. So for me, it was the thing of, if you see a wolf's got big bad teeth, it's okay. You're not judging them. You're not saying that person's not very nice, got big bad teeth. It's okay. It's okay to just see it for what it is. But for me, there's always a coming back to love. There's always a coming back to trust. I'm not my own with this. I asked for guidance. I got beautiful guidance that really, and you know when it's working. You know when it is. So, and there was a while where I just had to sit with the feelings and hold them. I wasn't getting any guidance straight away. It was just kind of just want you to sit and hold them, accept them, surrender to them. And so yeah, there was a lot of surrendering and there was sort of, you sort of feeling the way. And the more you do this, the more you sort of know. Um,
Thank you. Thank you so much for, for sharing so much, detail and so much of the process that you went through as well. And I feel people really resonate with this. Of course, for some people, they will feel, and I'm just connecting with you guys as well, will feel a bit alien, but you have an underlying feeling of like, I know I was meant to hear this, and I'm not saying that you get to understand, every single word or every single, scenery that Amanda was saying here, but I want you to feel that there is a way to, to connect with whatever it is coming to you. For example, if it's a challenge, if it's a situation at work, or if it's a situation with someone, next to you that you feel psychologically abused or physically abused, or do you see there is a way where you can actually go within and come out with a peaceful resolution out of that as well? And you will be, as soon as you go in as well, you don't have to be alone with that as well. I think that that's some of the takeaways from this. You can, take yourself, a little space, and that could be for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, it could be for a moment, or it could be for a bit longer. It depends on, you're going to get that guidance in there.
yeah.
And surrender to what you're feeling in that moment. And then on that surrendering, there will be, other emotions, other thoughts, other things that will be coming up to you. And then you can actually bring in, other, strength, force, light, source, God, entities that you feel like that can assist you on. And it could be, I love, that in one of the episodes we use Beyonce here. Do you see what I mean? The idea of like having what you understand from Beyonce. Do you see what I mean? Of her image or whatever it is that you have in your mind that can bring that, oh, that feminine strength, that feminine, power and so on. But you can call, God in, an angel, or, a saint, whatever it is that you believe on, and say, hey, this is the situation I'm feeling, there's something here that I can't discern, I can't distinguish, I can't tell. Can you help me out? Can you assist me here?
And I think
And, yeah.
when, sorry, I don't want to butt in, but it's that point of sometimes we can, just like using the 5-second rule, sometimes there's little things that you go, oh, just a quick moment. No, oh, yeah, that's okay. I clocked it. I just shift it in my mind and I'm off. But it's like when some things deeper that you're going, yeah, this, my mind can't sort this. This is a deeper thing, isn't it?
And then yeah, you can go and ask, for some, guidance and so on. And there are moments where you might require another fellow human to be around you. Do you see what I mean? It might be a friend, it might be a therapist, it might be, someone that you get to reach out, you get to speak up. And then there are beautiful works out there that you might be able to call someone. Do you see what I mean? Or you might be able to call a charity, or might be able to, book an appointment or something that will allow you, even if it's just a space for you to bounce back some ideas without, a judgment place or anything, where someone can be with you. And that could be sometimes, like Amanda beautifully shared, the situation where there is the church sometimes, and there is, you can be sharing with someone that it can create that space for you. You can have that in your mind, and like we mentioned before, sometimes you might have like your council of guides, in a table, and like this, you
Yeah.
know helping you out in your mind. But
Yeah.
sometimes you can actually physically have a
Yeah.
therapist, a human, and everything. And I just really want you to take from this that you have permission to ask for help. Do you see what I mean? It's okay to go. And there is this feeling of uncomfortable with this situation. And I'm not saying that has to be, dramatic, or it doesn't have to be an abuse itself. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be as simple as, oh, there's this thing at work that it feels uncomfortable. And before it leads to something else, because we know how much it can impact in our health, into anxiety, stress, depression, all the chemical reactions that are happening in our body when we have so much cortisol or stress, what, the stress it creates in our body, in the organs and everything else. If we don't take the action, it will carry on happening. It's just about, okay, I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to pay attention to this. I'm going to share this with someone.
Yeah.
And before we end this, this episode, it feels like it keeps coming, even like from before. I spoke to Amanda as well before we jumped in, and just to share something that happened yesterday as well. And it's a simple thing. I didn't speak to my mom the day before, and then yesterday I was sort of like, oh, let's have a chat. And we had a beautiful catch up for about 2 hours. I was cooking and then everything, and I was with her on the phone. And then she was like, I really feel this anxiety, and I don't even have a reason for it. You see what I mean? I'm in a job that I'm earning well, that I have time, I have peace and everything else, and I have this massive anxiety. And she was starting to say, and I usually go for eating, what I mean, to get out of that anxiety, or I'll go for shopping or something. So it's just, there was an anxiety. And I was like, and for the first time she asked me, Junior, and I usually told her as well that I went through a period of, quite a bit of anxiety the last 2 years and so on. And then I mentioned that I use a little bit of meditation, connecting to myself, and spoke a few things that we speak here on the thing. And then she was like, well, what is meditation? I mean, everyone talks about this meditation. Her sister is doing meditation as well. Like, what is it? Is it like a religion? Is it like a ritual and so on? I was like, Mom, it's just allowing you to separate you from your thoughts. That's my definition. Do you see what I mean? Of like, there are different ways of doing it, but it's like, oh, okay. And then I just start explaining a little bit for her. Look, do you know that you're not your thoughts? Things that we taught here on the Alchemy chart. And then she was like, what do you mean? Like, okay, there is this thought, for example, that you are anxious, and anxiety is bad, for example. Is that you? And then she was like, stop for a second. And I was like, no, it's a thought, isn't it, Mom? And like the other thought, which is like, I should be, eating less or something. It's another thought. It's not you, because you are allowing, the thought to come true.
Yeah.
And then we gave another analogy that I learned in some of the meditation courses and everything, which is like, imagine this road of cars passing by, what I mean? It's a busy road. And imagine that those cars are thoughts. Do you see what I mean? They're coming and going, and it's a busy traffic there. And imagine that your mind or you are jumping in each one of those cars, and like you get taken away. Do you see what I mean? You completely lost yourself. You're on the side road, and then there is a thought of like, I'm eating too much, and you're gone, and you lost yourself. So then the meditation for me is just like, okay, I'm coming back outside on this side road again.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a thought of eating. There's a thought of shopping. There's a thought of working. There's a thought of something. And then suddenly there's a thought of like, oh, my sister. Okay. So like, and then you go on again. Do you see what I mean with the car? And that's fine. And then you step out again, and then you watch the cars coming back and so on. And she was like, wow,
Oh,
it's different than I ever thought. And then we done a little exercise like Amanda was saying. Then I was like, Mom, let's just do, you talk about anxiety and so on. Let's just close your eyes for a second. And we're not doing FaceTime or anything. As I say, are you sat in a, safe space and everything else? Just close your eyes for a second, breathe in and breathe out, and just now feel, where do you feel the anxiety, Ale? And then she was like, in my chest and so on. I was like, okay, so now just allow that energy to connect to your body. So it's just energy at the end of the day. It's not that it's a good or bad or anything. It's just, okay, there is this anxiety. Where is it? Is in my chest. Okay, so breathe in and out with that feeling in your body. And then we done that for like, I don't know, 3 or 4, times and everything else. And she was like, oh, it's weird. It seems to be dissolving. It seems to be reducing a little bit.
beautiful.
And then I was like, Mom, this is exactly what we're talking about. We might call it meditation. We might call it getting present, getting to yourself, but it's just allowing, does it feel a bit quieter now? Do you see the road in your mind? Does it feel a little bit quieter now? Oh yeah, do you see what I mean? Because you can use the anxiety actually as an anchor, as a good energy, because it's energy at the end of the day to allow you to connect to yourself.
Yeah.
So I feel for you guys, if you're watching this as well, if there is, anything that you're feeling, if there is a challenge and a thought, a feeling, an emotion, and so on, you can use that as an energy for connecting back to, again, what we've been telling over and over again, to who you really are.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might need a little assistance. For me, I mean, I was the one yesterday with my mom, but sometimes, Amanda was the one with me when I kind of got lost in and driven away with my car. Do you see what I mean? And I couldn't get out of the car. I was locked in there. Do you see what I mean? And then suddenly someone can actually open it from outside and like, hey, do you want to come to the sideway? Do you see? Do you want to watch these dots here? Do you see? And that's
Oh, Jean, that's so beautiful. What a lovely gift to give to your mum. And
yeah.
wow, I bet I can imagine how that's really beautiful, isn't it? That for your mum now, that's opened up doors, isn't it? Of sort of, oh God, I didn't know that, I didn't know. And gosh, but she got to, you were with her, was she experienced? And that's the powerful thing, isn't it? She experienced having anxious feelings in the body and kind of, I don't even know where they're coming from. And she experienced, you were with her, you held her hand, you nurtured her to that place, didn't you? And you said, and God, it must have been huge. And now, you may need to do that with a few more times, but the more your mum, and it is that, there's all sorts of reasons why we resist to do that, and that's a whole other episode. But for your mum now, you've given her the choice, haven't you, to say, okay, that anxious feeling's there. I have a bit of a choice here. I can jump into that car and go off on the motorway. Or what if I just want to take some breaths? And that's where the change happens, isn't it? It's in that decision to, I'm going to be with this.
Yeah. And again, the decision, and I was, by that time I was kind of almost like just finishing cooking and so on. It wasn't, something that we're going to sit down, we're going to do meditation, we're going to do a therapy. When there wasn't any of that. It was just the right moment. And again, she was open to ask for the first time after 2 years that I've been talking about meditation, 2, 3 years, that she was like, what is this? Do you see what I mean? Why is it that everyone, why is it I'm being, put this, ideas around it? And there was her openness to actually, oh, I want to understand this a little bit more. I want to feel this a little bit more, do you see? And using, as I always, comment here, and we bring that up, using the pain that may be anxiety or something to help you to reconnect, to find, a path, to find a way as well. So yeah, without, blaming the situation, the challenge that we're going through, is actually leaning in and using it to connect to ourselves as well.
Oh, I love that. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah. Oh, a wonderful thing to share.
So I think we got like another nice episode for you guys as well.
Yeah.
So I feel we can wrap up here. So I would, yeah, massive thank you, Amanda, for you to share, your way, your story, and I know, we're trying to protect, as many of the people that we putting involved into this as well. And our intention, as always, is just, sharing and potentially, spark that light in you, that you got every, I mean, you got this, you got everything inside of you, you got the help around you.
Yeah.
It's, I will bring, like, the thing that they usually use in the Bible is, oh, ask and you shall be given. It's literally that. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Ask for help, or ask for, guidance, or ask, and it will show up. It will, like, it's just
Mhm.
about expressing and being with yourself there. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're not alone, as Amanda always bring it up. You're not alone, for
I'm
sure.
not alone, and I love. Thank you, Jean, for sharing about, I know how your lovely mum and that journey with her, because that's huge, isn't it? And you just,
Yeah,
she experienced that other side of herself. Of, there's a part of me that isn't anxious. There's a
yeah,
part of me that does feel calm, and that's the beautiful thing, isn't it? And if you're listening to this thinking, oh, I've tried all sorts of different things and I don't know, I can't do that, and yeah, it might be that point that you do reach out and say to somebody, I keep trying all these different things on my own and I can't get it to work. And that might be the time where you reach out to someone and say, look, I think I need a bit of help. I think I need a bit of help with this, to just show me how to do this. And that's absolutely fine, isn't it?
and again, like, I just wanna, it's not that we have to, take ourselves from anxiety to calm or anything else. It's sometimes, like with my mom, was actually reconnecting with the anxiety itself, like, because it was a piece, that was a crucial piece to allow her to ask about meditation, to allow her to actually sit down and feel it. And it was the anchor that actually helped, that energy, what we call anxiety, helped her to connect to her body, to feel where it was as well. So it's not about, oh, I should be feeling calm. It's actually, oh, this anxiety or this energy that is in me, actually, it's here for a good reason, and it's actually shouting all the time, sit down, feel me, what I mean, be
Yeah,
with me for a second.
I,
And
I really like the analogy of, it's a bit like if any emotion, if something's hurting, yeah, you, what's more normal? Why do I want to go into that? It hurts me. I'm going to resist it. I'm going to run
yeah,
away. But any feelings just trying to get your attention, because it's wanting to take you to a higher understanding, a loving resolution, remembering who we really are. And somebody said to me once, any feeling is like someone knocking on your door. And if you hear that and answer the door, well, then there's a communication. But if you keep going, oh, there's someone knocking on the door and they're ringing really loudly, and I think they've bashed the door down now, and that person just says, oh, I just had a parcel for you. But it was really important you got this parcel because
yeah,
it's important for you. And maybe another episode we could talk about what what the resistance can sometimes be within us to go with them and feel that uncomfortable fit. That might be another good thing to do tomorrow, to talk about what can actually
sure.
be sabotage and blockages that make us say, well, I don't want to feel that. um yeah, and I know we have done,
Well,
but
we
yeah.
have, yeah, we definitely have a lot yet to share with you guys. So, yeah, I just wanna, say thank you for being here. It's another episode 37, coming to an end, and so thank you so much, yeah, for your time, for sharing this, with yourself and possibly with someone else that you feel that it would be good for them, it will be a gift for them to listen to as well. If there is any comments, if there's something that really connected with you, or you want to, reach out, use the comments, let us know what you think. if there's something that you don't agree, or as always, I always say it as well, use the comments as well, so it's a way for us to like pay attention, to see what's going on as well. If you like the episode, just hit the like button if you like that. If you dislike, just put a dislike in there, so we know we have an awareness of what's going on. And if this is something that you would love to get more of, that this kind of chats, this kind of conversations, and then you feel that you don't have much around you, or you want to include into the conversations that you're having around you as well, always subscribe and hit that bell button as well. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Everything Gina said, thank you. and you're not on your own, and we've got absolute faith in you. Yeah, and thank you for being
Awesome.
with us. Lots of love.
Lots of love. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye for now.